Hello everyone, my name is Josh Grover, and welcome back to High Five Church History. Last week we looked at what is church history and why should we study it. I'll go ahead and post the link to that episode right up there. Today in episode 2, we're going to study what cultures influenced early Christianity. And those cultures are going to be the Jewish, Greek, and Roman. Let's go ahead and start with the Jewish culture first. Now, the kingdom of Israel was separated into two separate kingdoms. The northern and southern kingdom were Israel and Judah in 930 BC. The northern kingdom is taken over by Assyria in 722 BC, and the southern kingdom is taken over by the Babylonians in 587 BC. Now, the southern kingdom has a remnant that actually returns to Israel or Palestine area around 539 BC. And this remnant helps establish two major aspects of Jewish culture that heavily influenced early Christianity. The first was monotheism, or the worship of only one God. Rather than a lot of the idolatry that so pervades the Old Testament, you see these remnant Jews, these returning Jews, only worshiping one God. And of course, you see that in early Christianity. The second aspect is going to be synagogues. Now, even though this remnant returns, some of them actually began to spread across the Mediterranean world and establish Jewish cultures wherever they lived. And that includes synagogues. Synagogues where the Jews would come and worship and read from what we would call the Old Testament, even though the animal sacrifices and main place of worship would remain at the temple in Jerusalem. So again, in the Jewish culture, you're going to see monotheism and the synagogues. And these synagogues were used by early Christian missionaries as launching places to start sharing the gospel and the teachings of Christ. You especially see that in the life of Paul. So not only do we see the Jews heavily influencing early Christianity, but also the Greeks. In the mid-300s BC, we have Alexander the Great and his Greek army taking over most of the known world, including Israel or the Palestinian region. The Greeks are going to leave at least two marks on the known world at that time. The first is going to be Greek philosophy and then their language. With Greek philosophy, the philosophers were seeking to establish at least these three things. The first was going to be finding the order of the universe. Second was valuing the human spirit. And third, finding and valuing truth. The world, by the time of Jesus Christ, was ready to hear his message and the message of the apostles as they address those questions and those concerns directly. Second is going to be the Greek language. The Greek language continued on even after the Greek Empire fell. The entire New Testament is going to bear marks to that because it's completely written in Greek. So we certainly see the Greek influence of their philosophy and their language on the early church. Then, last but not least, we're also going to see a Roman influence on early Christianity. Rome is going to influence early Christianity in these three ways. The first is going to be their government. The Romans did not deal with civil unrest. They did not tolerate civil war. And actually what this allows early Christianity to do, and early Christians to do, is to travel throughout the empire, sharing the news of Christ, sharing the news of the apostles, without having to worry about civil unrest. Second, we're also going to see transportation, Roman transportation. Rome had set up a network, a series of highways and seaways that allowed early Christians again to take the message throughout the Mediterranean world, throughout the Roman Empire, very quickly and speedily and efficiently. Then last, we're going to see Roman politics. Now, this third aspect is actually a very negative influence on early Christianity. Rome wanted submission to the state. But many Christians, however, seemed to be disloyal because they wouldn't worship the Roman gods. They would not give undue loyalty to the emperor. This led for Rome and its government to really become the initial significant enemy of early Christianity. So in this second episode, we saw the Jewish, Greek, and Roman cultures heavily influencing early Christianity. So before you go, I'm going to ask that you all like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and please leave your comments below. A comment or a question that we could start off with is, how are you as a Christian today getting involved in your culture, in your society, and affecting them for Jesus Christ? Today's episode, we saw that Christianity, since its birth, has not only been in a way influenced by other cultures, but influencing other cultures as well. And we need to do that today. That is how church history continues to speak to us. Thanks again, and I can't wait to see you next time as we continue to high five church history.